Hey guys, hey, it is your girl, Food by Faith Garden to Table, your Zone 8A Georgia gardener, and it's hot, y'all. When I tell you it's hot, it's hot. I got hat hair. But you guys remember this area that I had my watermelons in, and I was telling you guys that we were going to remove the watermelons from out of here, get it cleaned up. I had to hand till it the other day. Y'all, listen, I was supposed to do a second workout class the other day. Nah. Hand tilling this area was the second workout class because once I got done with the hand tilling, I went back in and pulled the rest of the weeds that did not get pulled up. So what I did was I had another flower in this pot right here. I emptied that out and I'm going to put some flower seeds in there, probably some mums or some zinnias, one or the other, but I have another flower pot that I'm going to empty out today as well, or this evening, because it's around about 6:30 right now. But I have some sunflowers that I'm going to plant here. These sunflowers take about 80 days to do whatever they're going to do, and we have at least 90 to 100 days before it begins to get cool here in Georgia Zone 8A. I have my pumpkins. You remember coming along with me when I started those pumpkins from seed. We have them in, I'm going to place them in those two pots right there. And I have some fish fertilizer in some water ready to put those in. I have my sweet potato slips. I don't know if you guys can see that I actually have rows. And what I'm going to do, again, being intentional, is I'm going to put the sweet potato slips in the ground in those rows, and then the pumpkin plants are going to be inside of the pots. Just because if anything is to happen to the pumpkin plants, I can just pull the pumpkin plants, trash them, and the sweet potatoes will be okay. Once I get everything put down in this area, I am going to cover it with mini pine bark nuggets. I went and got a couple of bags today. As you can see, I still left this Paul Robeson tomato here, and then I have a German giant right here that I left. I was putting more landscape fabric down in my garden a little while earlier. So once I got that done and my husband got done cutting this area over here, I was able to come over and get started again. I did do a couple of things earlier, but the sun was just too hot and too heavy. So I had to stop just for safety reasons. And guys, just know, we all love to garden, but we have to be safe out here. So it was just getting way too hot to continue on. So I had to stop. Let me readjust the camera. So I had to stop and do some stuff inside the house, and then I came back out. So I pre-moisten the soil so that as I'm working in it, none of it just flies up in my face. So let's get to work putting these items into the garden. Guys, it has been a very warm July, and we are rolling into August this week. But listen, that don't mean nothing for Georgia, except it's still going to be hot. But it's also a blessing because it is growing season and we are still able to continue to grow. Guys, I wanted to tell you the other day, make sure you're wearing gloves when you're out here. Right now I just have on a cheap, cheesy pair of gloves, but when you're out here, make sure you have on gloves, because as I was working around in the garden, my arms and everything began to itch as I put my hands and such inside of the tomato plant area. So what I'm doing now is just dropping some zinnia seeds into here. I just love to have flowers all over the place. So this soil has been pre-moistened as well. So we're going to sit these back down. So the sunflowers that I planted was mammoth sunflower as well as this black Russian sunflower. And of course, this sunflower produces delicious black seeds. This one does, that can be used in baking, roasting, or bird feed. Black Russian sunflowers are great at attracting birds, bees, and squirrels. Mike, don't plant these. The large stems of this variety can be dried and used for plant stakes or as firewood. Heads can get 15 to 18 inches in diameter. Guys, I grew one year and it was so absolutely gorgeous. But I wanted to read that because Bougie Prepper did a challenge where she was cooking outside, and I read this so that if she's growing any, or if any of our garden family is growing any sunflowers, that you know that you can use the stalks once you dry them out as fire starter. So guys, as Growing Out the Box likes to say, let's kind of close the loop on gardening. So we are going to put our pumpkin plant in. So it's looking a little worse for wear because it's so hot, but it's also ready to be out of this pot. So we got some nice soil that we mixed up here. And I'm also going to put pine bark nuggets in the pots as well. Here is our second one. And my labels kind of washed off, but this one is a winter luxury, and I started it 26 June. And this is what it's looking like. So number 2 is winter luxury. I'm going to look back at number 1 to see what it is. And guys, not only is this a record for you guys, but this is a record for me so that I know what I planted. So I'm getting that whole stem under there. Let's see if I have the label for this one. What did I do with that label? I might have dropped it when I dropped the other one. Okay, but let's get started on these sunflowers. And I planted these on the 9th of July. And today is the 27th. So this is how big they've gotten. And I keep these pots, guys, and I wash them out. So these sunflowers are going to get planted in the row closest to the pumpkin, and they are getting planted in the ground. Uh-oh. Sorry, guys, it's just gnats flying around. Just trying to make sure these are standing up. Get any excess soil out of there. And again, on this same row, I am going to drop a couple of seeds just for the sake of dropping a seed. And then I have 3 more rows, and that is where we are going to drop our sweet potato slips. And so we don't really have to wonder what we planted and where we planted it at, simply because we're planting in our rows. Okay. And guys, where you see me going is I'm just sitting stuff on top of, I have a Vego garden hose. Yeah, it is absolutely amazing. This, of course, is not a sponsored video, but I will tell you that was a very good investment getting that water hose, and I did cover it. My sister came over one day and she said, "Oh, you put clothes on your water hose?" I'm like, "Girl, yeah, we got to cover that thing up just in case anything happens. You know, we got to give it long life." But I'm going to bring you down just a bit because I want you to be able to see me as I get these slips into the ground. Gotta put you in a level area. There we go. So now we are about to put our slips into the ground. And I've already amended this area. I've already put down some fertilizers and watered it in. I put down some granule fertilizers. So of course they're slow release, and I water everything in today with some fish fertilizer. And that I water before I put the wood chips down, the mini pine bark nuggets, and then I wet down the mini pine bark nuggets. Here are our slips. I have quite a bit. I do have two different kinds. So one came from a regular sweet potato and one came from a red sweet potato. So let's see what we get. I did do the experiment with the red, the white, and the orange sweet potato, but the white sweet potato did not give me any slips. It actually just rotted away. So I ended up throwing that one away. The orange one is still going. The orange one is still going strong. Yeah, the orange one is still going strong. I think the red just started going down, but I'll show you that one. But right now I have 5 cups worth of slips and a sweet potato that's still giving me more. So we want to plant all the way down to the end of our row. And some of these have more roots on them than others. So some will get planted a little deeper than the others. And I'm not being scientific in the distance that I'm planting them apart. I'm literally just planting and eyeballing the spacing. Again, guys, if I can do it, you can do it. And remember, potatoes grow from potatoes, but sweet potatoes grow from sweet potato slips. Sweet potatoes do not grow from sweet potatoes. So you need to have some sweet potato slips. So let me show you what I mean when I say that some have more roots than others, and you can see the difference. So these are the roots of one, and then these are the roots of another. Very, very healthy slips. Very healthy. And when you're planting sweet potatoes, remember not to give them a ton of nitrogen, because if you do, all you're going to get is a lot of leaves and not a lot of potatoes. So just be mindful in doing that. So guys, I have quite a bit of slips here. So I believe the rest of the slips that I'm growing, I will probably give away to my barber, because I've been doing little starts because he wants to teach his daughter about gardening. And she's around about 2 years old, I believe. So he wants to teach her about gardening, and I think 2 years old is an amazing age. I mean, you guys have seen on numerous occasions my nieces and nephews out here with me in the garden picking plums, picking blueberries. So nobody could ever tell them that they don't know where their food came from, because they'll probably say from their auntie's backyard. I want to get these last ones into the ground. They may be a little bit closer than I want them to be, but again, I want to use them all up. And it's better to have more than you need than not enough. And you always have to give yourself grace, just in case one or two does not make the transplant process, because they may not all make the transplant process. So guys, when I first moved in this house, this area right here used to be the biggest pine tree here. And I immediately, the moment that I could, had it cut down, because I just felt like as much space as I could use for gardening, I wanted to use for gardening. And although pine trees are great, they're beautiful, I'm not eating anything from a pine tree. Okay, guys, so we're back. We have all of our sweet potato slips planted. We have our pumpkins planted. We have our sunflowers planted. We have some zinnias planted in this pot. I'm about to water in this area. And then what we're going to do next is put down our mini pine bark nuggets. It's getting late, so I have to do this quickly because I need to finish cooking dinner.